I was gonna buy a Chanel bag for this bit, you know, like Shaylee, Chanel, but those things are way too expensive. So instead, here's the bag that I used to carry my cat around in. I'll let him out. Oh, hey. I don't think he's happy that I put him in the bag for the bit. Well, at work, I see you don't see me, I bet you. So, it's been a while, but I'm back. Now, you might be asking why I was gone for so long, and the answer to that is simple. I've been working really hard behind the scenes, and I'm super proud to announce the channel has its first sponsor. Prime. Like the Logan Paul KSI drink. Oh, God. That was gross. I'm not sponsored by Prime. Logan Paul, please don't sue me. I love you and your big muscles. No, I've actually been gone because I moved and I changed jobs and it's cold and I didn't want to write the script, blah, 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 fuck you. As you can tell, I still haven't found like a new outdoor place to shoot videos, but the brick here reminded me of the chimney from the roof, so this is gonna be the new spot for now until it gets warm and I want to go outside. So, Shaylee Shanel is the first of 2 songs off of Split EP that Hot Mulligan did called Split with another band named Everyone Leaves. Interestingly, the songs from Everyone Leaves on the project aren't available on Spotify. I didn't even know they were part of it until I researched it for this video. You can still find them on Bandcamp though, and the songs are called Tired Life and Little One. After looking into it a bit, it seems like there was some kind of fuck up controversy thing with whoever they were working with for royalties or like music distribution. I found things talking about how like they weren't given like the royalty codes or the streaming codes or something, so someone else was getting all the money for the streams and they weren't replying to their responses, so the band just took them down and rather than someone else get all the money, which is pretty fair. But it does suck because the songs are actually really good. This tired life, and I'll push myself as far as I can go. So I thought I'd set a good little boy example and support them on Bandcamp.
Alright. I'm gonna support an artist. $5 seems like a good amount. Oh hell yeah, PayPal. Fuck!
I ended up having to put in my credit card information because PayPal sucks, so I'm not gonna show that, but I did buy the songs. Do you think I can ever like write that off if this channel becomes profitable, like on my taxes? Anyway, back to the point. Shaylee Shanel is kind of a fan favorite song and seemingly one that the band hates. This is mostly conjecture, but Shaylee Shanel and another song of theirs called I Fell in Love with Princess Peach have both kind of fallen into this area with the fan base where it's like a bit that everyone loves them and wants Hot Mulligan to play them, but the band doesn't want to, either because they hate the songs or they don't like being told what to do, or both. I think at one point Wendy's even tweeted at them, play Shaylee. And there's a couple reasons the band might not like the song, one of which being its lyrical content. I've seen it referred to as like the simp national anthem, which you'll see as we get into it is kind of fair. Lead singer Tades actually replied to a Reddit thread that I made asking about the song though, and kind of explaining why they don't like it as much. So he said, aside from not liking the lyrics much, it's super long and super boring, it's a deadly combination. We're pretty high energy, but from when that song comes on, it holds you hostage until the end. While I do love the song, I kind of agree with him. I get what he's coming from. The chorus goes on a lot and it's a lot slower than a lot of their other songs. All right, that's enough intro. Song time. Well, at work, I see you don't see me, I bet your boyfriend stands in. Before I came, I bet he parted with the kiss. Your tattoo ring switches digits, from middle to index and back. I look sad in all black, hurry with the touch, I gotta get to the band now. So right off the bat, we get a very pretty, twinkly Midwest emo guitar intro. I bet you thought I forgot about the Twinkerbell bit from all the way back in the 11-second burp video, didn't you? You think I would forget about that just because I haven't mentioned it in any video since then? Well, you'd be right. I did. I forgot about it. But this reminded me, so it's back now. So the song starts with the premise of this singer obsessing over his coworker who he's invisible to. The whole simp national anthem thing is pretty evident from the get-go as he immediately starts talking about like scenarios in his head of her boyfriend coming over and kissing her her when he wasn't there and all that nonsense. Now, I won't lie, the lyrics do get pretty cringy, and the whole like blow up of simps and simping as a meme circa like 2018, 2019 certainly didn't help the song in hindsight. But to be fair, this is Midwest emo we're talking about. The like stereotypical joke about this genre is that it's scrawny white boys whining about girls who are too good for them. I get it if that's a turnoff for you, but I think there's still value to discussing the emotions that they're conveying. There's a sort of sad desperation that the whole song gives off that I think most people can either relate to, or if not that, at least are aware of. I am not the most qualified person to discuss like the whole male loneliness epidemic thing, or whatever you want to call it. There's much better like video essayists and more educated people to talk about that than me. But I do think there's an important distinction to be made between the feelings and struggles that like some young men go through and the bad and like negative actions and views that they might end up garnering from those feelings. A lot of young men take their problems with girls or with life in general, and instead of doing like healthy self-reflection, they turn to con artists and misogynists like Andrew Tate or anyone else in the whole like manosphere circle. I think conflating the initial emotions that like those young men can feel and the end product of, you know, the like manosphere pipeline is kind of a dangerous thing to do. Shaming people for feeling lonely or rejected by the world probably only pushes them into the steroid atrophied arms of bigots and grifters who are waiting to recruit them. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be a level of embarrassment and shame put on people for, you know, their views and their actions. I think there definitely should. I just think it's something important to mention. Throughout this video, I'm going to bring up this whole like manosphere male loneliness thing at a very surface level because I think it's related to at least how I interpret the song, but it's a much bigger and more important issue than I think I have the authority or time to really get into. But if you have any interest, I'm going to link in the description this really good video essay on the whole concept. But seriously, have you ever seen like a sadder, more compensating piece of shit than Andrew Tate? Like, dude, you look and sound like a fucking thumb. Oh, it's just sugar. Okay, back from that little tangent. I was never really able to catch all the lyrics of this part of the song when I would just listen to it casually, and I didn't know them until I looked them up for this video. They say, I bet he parted with a kiss, your tattoo ring switches digits to middle to index and back. So as we go on, the song kind of leaves it up to interpretation whether the singer and this girl were ever in a romantic relationship in the past, or if all of his feelings are just, you know, in his head. I think if you want to look at it from a negative point of view, if he was with this girl in the past, the whole ring switching digits thing could be read as like a metaphor for him saying like she's, you know, unfaithful, like she's switching it up. It's a pretty lame perspective to have about someone who you used to be with moving on healthily and finding a new partner, but I think it's, you know, kind of a classic like simp mentality stereotype or whatever. Hell, if we want to have a really negative opinion of the singer, we could even assume that he never was with this girl in a romantic way, and instead he's just blaming her for being unfaithful for just living her life normally because his obsession has bled over into delusions. He's like imposing this parasocial relationship that he's built up in his head on her. I tend to fall on the side of thinking where he wasn't with this girl in the past, and I think a less critical way to look at this line could just be that, you know, he's obsessed with her and he knows all of her little fidgets and things. Like maybe she flicks her ring around when she's bored or when she's flirting with her boyfriend or something. Then he says, I look sad in all black, hurry with the darts, I gotta get to the band, man. So I heard someone talk about this line in the context of like cigarettes. Like, you know how cigarettes are called darts sometimes? So the idea is him and this girl might be like just smoking cigarettes casually, hanging out and chatting, and then he's saying like, hurry it up, I gotta get to the band to play. I always thought that it was straight up like they're playing darts in a bar and he's like, we gotta finish the game quick so I can get away to the band. I don't think it really matters which interpretation you take though, because either way it's sort of like he's hanging out with her casually, friendly, but he's in a hurry to get away even though, you know, he's in love with her. And I've always thought of it like the band is like his escape, right? Like the longer he has to sit there with her, the more he has to acknowledge his own delusion and the fact that they aren't together and that they're just friends. And so he wants to get to the band to kind of escape it. And right after this, the chorus is going to come on, which we'll see. So I've always thought of it like maybe like it's him getting to the band to sing this song, kind of cope and, you know, release that. And if, you know, they are at a bar smoking or playing darts, maybe she's there as a friend to see his band and he's going to get up and sing this song that's about her, but he can't face her with it. He can't talk to her, so he's just singing at her.
So come visit my place, we'll sit and talk about the stupid shit that your boyfriend says, 'cause I did love you, and I still do, and how my standard of
So the chorus of this song repeats 3 times, and while it's super catchy, I get what Tate's meant about it being repetitive. What I just played is only half of the chorus, so everything you just heard repeats again, and that's one chorus, and that happens 3 times. It's a lot, and with the slower beat, I can totally get how when they're up and playing it, it gets boring. Regardless, I think the chorus is kind of summing up the singer's view of his own situation right now. It contrasts the delusional, borderline parasocial relationship that he has in his head with this girl with the reality of the situation. And I think it leaves the audience feeling like a little unsettled and simultaneously maybe relating or just pitying the singer and his desperation. He talks about the girl coming over and hanging out with him, using him as a sounding board for all the issues with her boyfriend, all the stupid shit he says. It's pretty cliche, but like I think the best way to put it is it sounds like the singer complaining about her friend zoning him. But I think it's more interesting to look at if we try to stop thinking of the word friend zoned as a verb. Like if the singer is delusionally obsessed with this girl, the actual reality of the situation could be that they are just fully friends. And just because you have an idea of what someone is or what your relationship with someone is or should be, doesn't mean that you should interpret their actions and behaviors based on that idea. Maybe they really are just friends, people who can talk and play darts and smoke and complain. But because of the fairy tale this singer is letting himself live in, normal friendly behavior to him is interpreted as like targeted and intentional dismissals of what he thinks they should have. Like it changes being friends to getting friend zoned, if that makes sense. The singer laments, "I did love you and I still do, and how my standard of girls is based completely around you." It sounds like this pedestal that he's put this girl up on is so high that he's afraid that it will stop him from moving on in his own life ever. Don't fuck with the camera, please. Spoon. Don't push it over. Dude, you gotta move, man. I think this line is also important to think about in terms of that other interpretation where he was dating this girl at some point in the past. In that scenario, the song becomes more about lopsided breakups. It seems like the girl has moved on healthily and is confident enough in her friendship with the singer that, they can still hang out and play darts, and she can even, complain about her boyfriend to him. But the singer has clearly lied about his emotional state, and he's still kind of clinging on to whatever feelings he had. He feels like nothing will ever compare, that she is now the standard of what a relationship should be. And I think that line, "My standard of girls is based completely around you," is a very poignant one. It's easy to get caught up in a relationship, especially if it's one of your first. And one of the hardest parts about having multiple relationships in your life is the baggage you carry between them. I think most people understand the concept of like negative baggage or trauma that could get carried from one relationship to another. It's harder to open yourself up to trust someone when last time you did that you were hurt. Like how after getting rear-ended at a stoplight you might tense up every time you're at a stoplight from that on. But there's another more subtle aspect that I think can get carried between relationships too, that being expectations. When you leave a relationship, especially a long-term or a serious one, I feel like it's easy to mold what you think a relationship should be based on your old partner. Bringing that into an entirely new relationship isn't just unhealthy, but it can kind of be unfair. It's hard to do, but like new relationships are a chance to get to know a whole new person. And bringing in expected behaviors and personality traits and patterns from your old partner is a way to lead to comparison and kind of a rocky foundation to build something new on. It's like trying to build a new house over a spot where the old one collapsed but refusing to clear the debris beforehand. And all this isn't to say that standards aren't important. I think one of the best things that you can take from a failed relationship is learning what it is that you are looking for in a partner in a relationship and what ways you can be better as a partner. Setting standards for yourself and who you're with is an important part of finding a good match. But I think there's a nuanced difference between standards and expectations. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I've been talking about this part too long. Let's just move on.
Are you in so far away? Is contact just use, babe? I hate these stupid cliches. I let myself on fire, yeah. Or 3 ghosts of girlfriends haunted me till irrelevance crashed in my head like a baseball, so I can concentrate on you like first ever pinball.
So at first, this whole verse kind of continues the cringy lyrics that we got used to before, right? He's complaining about how she lives too far away and fantasizing about how her boyfriend must call her babe. But then we get some of the first real critical self-reflection of the song. The singer acknowledges that what he's thinking and saying are stupid cliches. He kind of realizes that he might be being irrational and cringy, and he hates those cliches. This sort of self-contradiction shows up later in their music too, with the song Pluto Was Never Really a Planet Either Even from the album Pilot. The context in that song isn't the same, but the idea is there, where the singer feels like all this is beneath him, but he still finds himself sort of the object of his own ridicule. How do you pretend to be above cliches, but find yourself feeling and acting in cliche ways? To apply it in this context more bluntly, he's like acknowledging that it's funny to make fun of simps and simping and like, oh, that's so pathetic, but at the same time is realizing that he's acting like one. And he keeps acknowledging that all this despair and stuff is pretty much his own fault. He says he led himself on for a year or 3. I feel like that whole male loneliness pipeline thing I was talking about before is so awful, because instead of young men who are having a genuinely valid hard time with stuff, kind of self-reflecting and figuring out why, these figureheads of the manosphere offer them the solution of, it's not your fault, it's that you're being led on. Women are horrible, women are doing this to you. But here, to the singer's credit, I think he doesn't fall into that trap, and he realizes that it's his own delusion making him think that he's getting led on. And then he says, ghosts of girlfriends haunted me. Maybe this other person wants to fully move on from whatever they might have had, and she wants to maintain a healthy friendship with him, but he feels like he can't do that. For one reason or another, the specter of their relationship, real or imagined, is something that haunts him and it stagnates him. He says he's haunted by it until irrelevance crashes into his head like a baseball. And then he looks at this girl and his obsession and his feelings not as, the world hating on him or the world screwing him over, but as a personal pitfall. Like I said, I don't think I'm qualified to talk about the weird manosphere shit and how it's affecting people today, but at the heart of it, that's a sad place to be, right? That's a sucky feeling to have, but it's important to still keep some empathy for it, I think. Also, the lyrics in this part are kind of hard to make out, and Genius and Spotify and the lyrics online, I swear to God, are wrong. Online it says, I let myself up for a year or 3, girlfriends haunted me to irrelevance, crashed to my head like a baseball. But I've always heard, I led myself on for a year or 3, girlfriends haunted me till irrelevance crashed in my head like a baseball. I think my hearing just makes more sense in the context of the song, but also I'm pretty sure it's actually what they say. Listen to it again.
I let myself on for a year or 3, ghosts of girlfriends haunted me till irrelevance crashed in my head like a baseball, so I can concentrate on you, my first ever pitfall.
Whatever, maybe I'm tripping, or maybe Genius and Spotify just have the lyrics wrong somehow.
Pour out your heart, give up, restart. It's with the same guy, I'm sure, but at least you might get better. I'm not enough to fill you up. She just loves someone who wants to see you smiling happy.
I'm not enough to fill you up. She just loves someone we know is just exactly like me.
So this final verse is like the singer's last lament. It still reads as cringy at some points, and it feels like a friend overstepping their bounds and judging, this girl. He sees her going through hardships and, getting with new partners, but he calls them the same guy. And that might be literal, maybe she's actually getting with and breaking up with the same guy over and over. But it could also easily be, him saying everyone she's getting with is the same guy. He's wrong for her. It's very nice guys finish last coded. Why do women only want the bad boys when I'm right here? That kind of thing. And I think one of the many fatal flaws with that mentality is it's claiming that you love and care about this person, and I think you think that you're judging the people she's choosing to be with, they're at fault, but in reality it's read more as you're judging the person that you claim to care so much about. Who is the singer to tell her who she should or shouldn't be with? She's a person just in the same way he is. The whole idea of looking from afar and playing out these scenarios in your head, it feels like when you're in a shower after losing an argument and you come up with the right comebacks then, like hours later. It's like a projection of insecurities, sort of. And I'm not saying the girl has it all figured out. I think it's very likely the singer is probably right about some stuff. But my point is that he doesn't get to tell her that she doesn't have it all figured out. That means different things to different people. What do you think? But by the end of the refrain, I think it comes back to the singer and his distaste for his own desperation. As he watches her live her life, I think he's looking at himself kind of like the always there waiting for you nice guy. It's kind of like a gender-swapped version of You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift. And while I think a lot of the singer's views and actions in this song are wrong, and I think he knows that, I'd be remiss to not acknowledge the fact that, like, I get that comparing You Belong With Me and Shaylee Shanel, there are some gender roles there that kind of change how we look at the situation. Like, You Belong With Me is the good neighborhood girl that the boy next door is too stupid to ever notice. And Shaylee Shanel is more like a creepy dude who feels entitled to a girl's affection. At the same time, I think you could see some self-entitlement in Taylor in You Belong With Me. And in Shaylee Shanel, maybe somewhere under all his insecurities and own problems, the singer actually does want this girl, who I think he calls Shay, to be happy. Real life isn't always one way or the other. Two things can be true at once. I know I've been critical of the singer this whole time, and I stand by that. I think that a lot of the mentalities he has are, flawed. But I still want to acknowledge that the feelings he's conveying are very real, and the feelings themselves are valid. I'm not trying to run cover for anyone's actions here, and I'm also not trying to demonize the song just for expressing feelings. The song is a simp song, 100% without a doubt. But when it comes to Hot Mulligan, even a simp song can give you some insight into the self-reflection and internal issues that the singer has trying to cope with his own faults. I don't know. I think I got a little headier than I meant to with this one and got kind of out of my depth, but fuck it, it's my channel. In summary, cringe, based cringe, wah, I'm a baby. Oh, I have a cut on my lip and it stings. Oh, fuck.
What's up? It's Kyle from Monster Energy. I love putting holes in drywall and riding dirt bikes.